Congratulations again. I now invite ICOMOS to present the nomination of Yên Tử, Vinh Nguyen Con Son, Key Bac Complex of Monuments and Landscapes, Vietnam. But before I give the floor to the Secretariat, Mr. Balsamo, please.
Thank you, Chair. We received a factual error notification concerning the evaluation of the Yên Tử Vinh Nguyen Con Son Key Bac Complex of Monuments and Landscapes, and this is to be found on page 61 of document INF 8B4. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Balsamo. ICOMOS, you have the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Chairperson. This is the presentation of the ICOMOS evaluation of Yên Tử Vinh Nguyen Con Son Key Bac Complex of Monuments and Landscape, Vietnam. The ICOMOS report can be found in document INF 8B1 on page 169 of the English version and page 208 of the French version. On this evaluation, ICOMOS has received a letter on factual errors and has acknowledged some of these errors. The Yên Tử mountain range was the home of the Tran dynasty during the 13th and 14th centuries and the birthplace of Truc Lam bamboo forest Buddhism, a Zen sect unique to Vietnam that merged principles of Mahayana Buddhism with Taoism, Confucianism, and indigenous beliefs, and played a key role in shaping a powerful, independent Dai Viet kingdom. The 20 component parts of the serial nomination are associated with 5 historical stages of the development of Truc Lam Buddhism development. The standing and archaeological remains, dating to a wide range of periods, include pagodas, temples, shrines, and other tangible and intangible heritage related to Buddha, national heroes, and key historical events, making it a living cultural heritage that is visited by many pilgrims today. The Yên Tử mountain range was a strategic location for security, political, and economic development and exchanges, which enabled the development of Truc Lam Buddhism and its dissemination. As the Tran dynasty allied with the Truc Lam Buddhism leaders, they fashioned a distinct cultural landscape which reflects close associations with people, with the environment, in strategic and harmonious selection of sites for worship, socio-economic development, and military defense. The 20 component parts of the Yên Tử complex of monuments and landscape are located in the forested mountains, rural lowlands, and riverine locales of northeastern Vietnam. The nominated property covers an area of 628.488 hectares, and buffer zones have been delineated around the nominated component parts. The nomination attempts a very complex and plural narrative that intertwines the development of a religion with the birth of a nation. The proposed outstanding universal value is based on a complex interaction between a place, the Yên Tử Mountains, a religious belief, Truc Lam, and the political strength, Tran dynasty, that evolved over time and is manifested in the unique landscape of today. ICOMOS considers that the wide array of proposed attributes reflects different dimensions of the narrative which appear disjoint from one another. The primary distinctive feature of the serial nominated property lies, in ICOMOS' view, in the historical significance of Truc Lam Buddhism, its emergence and profound influence, particularly on the Tran dynasty, and on the creation of a rich tradition expressed through religious buildings, artifacts, and ongoing cultural practices. The initial configuration of the series was unclear, and through the evaluation process, the State Party reduced the number of the component parts from 20 to 12. No new maps were provided. However, despite the additional information provided throughout the process, the distinctiveness of Truc Lam Buddhism in terms of ideals, physical expression, use of space, and application of active engagement tradition remained unclear. The comparative analysis include a wide range of comparators. However, many have little in common with the nominated property, and no explicit comparison have been provided to confirm the distinctiveness of the physical expression of Truc Lam Buddhism. ICOMOS does not consider that comparative analysis at this stage justify consideration of the property for the well-tested list. The nominated property has been found not to meet yet criteria 3 and 6, and on the other hand, criterion 5 has been found not to have the potential to be demonstrated. However, a reconfigured nomination may have the potential to justify outstanding universal value, possibly under criteria 3 and 6. Though the nominated property has been nominated as an organically evolved cultural landscape, illustrating the integration of people and the environment, ICOMOS observes that it is not sufficient demonstrated how the process of selecting sites for the construction of religious buildings have influenced human behavior, or how the use of feng shui and natural resources for construction can be seen an exceptional reflection of nature-culture interconnection. ICOMOS noted that many component parts are too small to reflect an organically evolved cultural landscape. Hence, ICOMOS does not consider that the category of cultural landscape can apply to the nominated Syria. Since the criteria for justifying the proposed outstanding universal value have not been demonstrated at this stage, attributes cannot be confirmed, and integrity and authenticity neither. Monuments included in the nominated property were recently rebuilt or altered, and in some cases without much information, historical information or field data available, raising some concerns about their authenticity. However, the archaeological remains can be considered authentic, and there is a close link between the existing monuments and living religious traditions. A robust legal system is in place to protect the nominated property, and the laws are effectively implemented. The management structure is operational. However, weaknesses in tourism management were observed, and active community involvement is mainly limited to the local authorities. The general state of conservation of the nominated property appears uneven, with structures in good conditions and others suffering from cracks and invasive vegetation, and factors affecting it are currently under control but require careful monitoring. Here is a summary of the ICOMOS evaluation of the proposed outstanding universal value of the nominated property. At this stage, the comparative analysis does not justify consideration of the nominated property for voltage at least, and the criteria, therefore, have not been justified, though some might have the potential to be demonstrated if a revised nomination is focused exclusively on true Clan Buddhism and its development. ICOMOS considers that the protection, conservation, and management of the nominated property, although they could be improved, are appropriate. Aspects requiring attention include, among others, finalizing the general conservation plan and tourism management. The boundaries would have to be reconsidered to reflect a revised narrative better. To conclude, ICOMOS recommends that the examination of the nomination of Vien Tu Complex of Monuments and Landscapes, Vietnam, be deferred to allow the state party to refocus the narrative on the development of true Clan Buddhism, highlight the distinctiveness of true Clan Buddhism in comparison to other Buddhist sects in the region, envisaging extending the boundaries of the revised nominated property to fully encompasses an area of the Vien Tu Sacred Mountain landscape, which includes key structures, sites, and landscape that reflect the origin and development of true Clan Buddhism. Complete and implement on an urgent basis a systematic conservation and restoration process for the revised nominated property that focuses on maintaining the authenticities of the structures. ICOMOS has also included a number of further recommendations in draft decision to aid the long-term conservation of the property. ICOMOS furthermore considers that a revised nomination would need to be visited by a mission on site. Thank you.
Thank you so much, ICOMOS, for your presentation. I would like to know whether there are any comments concerning this nomination. I give the floor to the esteemed delegate of India.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. India has presented an amendment for inscription. Under agenda item 8B.22, India presented the amendment for the inscription of the Vien Tu Vinh Con Son Kip Bak complex of monuments and landscapes of Vietnam on the World Heritage List under criteria 3 and 6. This extraordinary serial property embodies a profound spiritual tradition, Truklam Buddhic philosophy, that emerged in the 13th century from the sacred landscapes of Yen Tu through the practices of the revered king Chong Yong Tong, and developed into a uniquely Vietnamese school of thought harmonizing Mahayana Buddhism, Confucianism, Taoism, and indigenous beliefs. The nomination offers exceptional testimony to a nation's journey where state, religion, and people united on the path of Dharma, fostering peace, resilience, and identity. Rooted in harmony with nature, it offers timeless wisdom for today's fragmented world. Importantly, the nomination reflects not just a historic legacy, but a living tradition. Truk Lang Buddhic philosophy continues to be practiced, celebrated, and revered, ensuring that the cultural and spiritual values associated with these landscapes remain vibrantly alive. The property also maintains high levels of authenticity and integrity, supported by sound conservation frameworks and community participation. India commends the State Party of Vietnam for its comprehensive work and strong commitment to safeguarding the sacred cultural landscape. We also acknowledge the constructive role of ICOMOS and UNESCO in guiding this process and recommends the inscription of the Yen Tu Vinh Nam Kon Son Kip Ba complex as it upholds the spirit of the World Heritage Convention, celebrating humanity's shared values and our common quest for peace, understanding, and spiritual elevation. I have personally visited Yen Tu and meditated on that mountain. Let us recognize and honor this remarkable testimony of Vietnam's cultural and spiritual heritage. I end with the Vietnamese chant, Nam Mô A Di Đà Phật, which means, I pay my respects to Amitabh Buddha. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I give the floor to the esteemed delegate of Japan, followed by Qatar.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Japan fully supports the inscription of this dossier, Yen Tu Vinh Game Conson Kep Complex of Monuments and Landscapes, for the following reasons. Both Japan and Vietnam share a profound cultural heritage deeply rooted in Buddhism and other beliefs, shaping the philosophies, arts, and social values. Both countries preserve ancient temples, pagodas, and traditional rituals that highlight intangible cultural values alongside tangible architecture. This incorporation of material and spiritual heritage underscores a shared commitment to cultural continuity and respect for natural landscapes. Their heritage celebrates resilience, philosophical depth, and the synthesis of local beliefs with broader East Asian traditions. Japan's site inscribed on the World Heritage List in July 2004, namely sacred sites and pilgrimage routes in the Key Mountain Range, offers a reference to this dossier. Both Key Mountain and Yen Tu embody Criterion 3 as exceptional testimonies to unique religious traditions. Key Mountain as a center of Buddhism and mountain worship associated with Shintoism, and Yen Tu as the birthplace of Truk Lam Zen Buddhism, each preserving distinctive spiritual practices deeply rooted in their cultures. Under Criterion 4, both sites represent living traditions where ideas, beliefs, and spiritual values are actively expressed through pilgrimages, rituals, and intangible heritage. They exemplify the enduring influence of worship philosophies on local identity, demonstrating how intangible beliefs shape tangible landscapes and cultural expressions. In essence, both sites reflect a profound interconnection of material heritage and spiritual meaning, validating their OUV through shared religious and cultural significance. While making a reference to the Key Mountain, we clearly find the distinctive characteristics of the Yen Tu complex with Truk Lam Buddhism at its core, emphasizing their active and civic engagement. Therefore, we fully support the amendment to inscribe the Yen Tu Vinh Game Conson Kep Ba complex of monuments and landscapes on the World Heritage List. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you so much. I give the floor to the esteemed delegate of Qatar, followed by Kenya.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. We extend our appreciation to the State Party of Vietnam for the significant work undertaken in preparing nomination dossier, as well as the valuable efforts of the ICOMOS while carrying out the evaluation for the nomination. We believe that the documentation submitted, the depth of the historical and cultural context provided, and the state party clear commitment to the convention form a solid foundation for continued progress. In this regard, we consider that the nomination file demonstrated a level of preparation and engagement that is sufficient to warrant an inscription rather than a deferral. Its inscription with the proposed amendment will enable the state party to enhance the interpretation and the presentation of the property while ensuring alignment with the core narrative of the property statement of outstanding value, universal value. Qatar supports the amendment proposal submitted by India. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you so much. I give the floor to the esteemed delegate of Kenya, followed by Bulgaria.
Thank you, Chair. Kenya supports the amendments submitted by India on the Yen2 complex monuments and landscapes. We note the evaluation report that positively acknowledged that, and I quote, many elements are generally well protected and remain in good condition. The caves, rock shelters, and natural religious icons included in the nominated property are generally in a good state of conservation. The conservation measures and the monitoring processes are well in advance. In addition, the reconstructed buildings followed strict regulations using traditional materials and employing traditional techniques for authenticity. We commend the State Party for its efforts in preserving the functional and spiritual authenticity of the site and echo the need for a holistic approach and understanding of authenticity in the context of the living religious landscape, not solely in material terms. Furthermore, the Austral aesthetic of True Lam Buddhism, as stipulated in the dossier, is intentionally minimal and consistent with the philosophy of simplicity and should not be seen as a shortcoming. Thank you, Chairperson.
Thank you so much. I give the floor to the esteemed delegate of Bulgaria, followed by Kazakhstan. Please.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. We would like to thank the State Party for their extensive work on the nomination dossier, as well as the World Heritage Center and the advisory bodies for their thorough review of the dossier and the additional documents. The nominated property, Yen2 complex of monuments and landscapes, illustrates the rich cultural and historical heritage of the region, showcasing the enduring influence on Truklam Buddhism as well as human adaptation to nature. This serial property consists of components associated with 5 historical stages related to the Tan family's origins. It also highlights the life and spiritual journey of Buddha King Tran Tong, who founded Truklam Buddhism. Furthermore, the complex illustrates the spread of Truklam Buddhism through the contributions of its second patriarch Phap Loa and third patriarch Huang Guang. Finally, it covers the revival and integration of Truklam Buddhism, as well as its significant influence on daily life in Dai Viet and Vietnamese traditions of land and water management. After consulting with our specialists who have reviewed the nomination dossier, the technical review of ICOMOS, as well as some additional information, Bulgaria would like to support the amendments to the draft decision and the inclusion of 12 components in the nomination. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And I will give the floor to the esteemed delegate of Kazakhstan, followed by Republic of Korea.
Thank you, Chair. Kazakhstan would like to express its appreciation to the distinguished delegation of India for its initiative in proposing this amendment. The physical simplicity of Truklam Buddhism is a deliberate expression of its core doctrine, grounded in the concepts of emptiness, impermanence, and non-self. Its austere architecture reflects spiritual clarity, not lack of cultural value. Truklam is physically expressed through temples, stels, stupas, inscriptions, bells, and natural landscapes, all of which embody spiritual ideals and local adaptation to Zen practice. According to UNESCO's own standards, especially criterion 6, ideas and beliefs alone can strengthen outstanding universal value, even when their physical forms are subtle. The minimalism in Chuklam Buddhism is not just an aesthetic. It's a way of life that promotes inner peace, ecological responsibility, and social harmony. In a world facing climate crisis and rising inequality, its teachings remain relevant and needed. Therefore, we support India's amendment to inscribe the Yentu Vingyam Concept Kiep Bak complex of monuments and landscapes of the World Heritage List to spread out the values that promote peace and accord. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you so much. I now give the floor to the Republic of Korea, followed by Lebanon. Please.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. After reviewing this dossier and the amendment by India, we appreciate Vietnam's hard work, who has spent 13 years in preparation, in close collaboration with ICOMOS and consultation with international experts, including Korean experts, since the upstream mission in 2015. The serial nomination named Yentu Vinnyam Konson Kiep Bak Complex of Monuments and Landscapes with Triklam Buddhism at its core, founded by Buddha King Chang Nan Tong, offers a distinctive and enduring contribution to the cultural and spiritual heritage of humanity. This philosophy promoted ethical governance, self-cultivation, and active social engagement, and was instrumental in uniting the royal court, military leadership, and local communities. It is a typical example of ideology, philosophy that create the foundation for spiritual strength, national solidarity, and unification of Asia countries, especially in Southeast Asia and Northeast Asia. The core philosophy of the Triklam Buddhism is peace, reconciliation, and harmony, which are fully aligned with the UNESCO model of building peace in mind of people. The dossier meets criteria 3 and 6 by demonstrating the unique fusion of state, religion, and people in the formation of Vietnamese nationhood, and an ethical system grounded in peace, self-cultivation, and social harmony. The property offers exceptional testimony to Triklam Buddhism, a distinctive Vietnamese tradition that blends Mahayana Buddhism with Confucianism, Taoism, and local beliefs. The practice of pilgrimage to these sites remains active, ensuring continuity of rituals, beliefs, and community identity tied to the landscape, making it a living heritage. For these reasons, we support India's amendment to inscribe this nomination on the World Heritage List based on the criteria 3 and 6. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I now give the floor to the esteemed delegate of Lebanon, followed by Ukraine.
Merci, Monsieur le Président.
Thank you, Chair. We thank ICOMOS for its evaluation. The proposed inscription provides a very full narrative based on interaction between a place, the mountains of Yentu, religious belief, Buddhism, and the dynasties. ICOMOS considers that this complexity, as well as the large number of attributes, affects the coherence of the proposed inscription and proposes a review on the basis. Although ICOMOS considers that the property is effectively proposed, we're proposing a deferral. In examining another proposed inscription proposed by Italy for Sardinia, ICOMOS has the same comments as those made for the monuments and landscapes in Yentu. ICOMOS proposed reviewing the proposed inscription based on the narratives of Sardinia to reword the inscription, emphasizing the way the evolution of funereal practices and to look at the constituent parts of the series in order to ensure that each of them significantly contributes to outstanding universal value, potential. We think there's inconsistency in the analysis of ICOMOS. In both cases, we're calling on the state party to review the proposed inscription to focus on the specific aspect which would better justify the criteria of OUV, but in the Yen 2 dossier, there's a recommendation to defer, even though it's being managed efficiently, whereas for the Sardinian property, it's being proposed to refer. And in both cases, there's a proposal to concentrate on the narrative. Given that ICOMOS's justified comments have been taken into account, we have no objection to the inscription of the property as well as that of Sardinia on the World Heritage List. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Now I give the floor to the esteemed delegate of Ukraine, followed by Turkey.
Merci, Monsieur le Président.
Thank you, Chair. Director General, Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen.
We thank the advisory body for the report. We have carefully examined the nomination dossier submitted by the state party. This nomination presents a deeply meaningful testimony to the enduring legacy of Truk Lam Zen Buddhism, a tradition that harmonized monastic and lay life and contributed to cultural and spiritual identity of Vietnam. The sacred mountain landscape of Yen Tu, together with the associated temples, monasteries, and pilgrimage routes, forms an exceptional living cultural landscape shaped by centuries of devotion, artistic expression, cultural heritage, and philosophical thought. We recognize the complexity of the nomination and commend the significant efforts by the state party and its approach in addressing ICOMOS guidance and recommendations. The state party's readiness to strengthen the narrative around the uniqueness of Truk Lam Buddhism, enhance legal protection, and deepen community engagement a strong commitment to the Convention's values and to long-term stewardship. So, we express our support for the nomination Yen Tu Vin Giem Konson Kiep Ban Complex of Monuments and Landscapes for the inscription on the World Heritage List and support the amendment submitted by the delegation of India. Merci beaucoup pour votre attention.
Thank you very much.
I now give the floor to the esteemed delegate of Turkey, followed by Zambia.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Turkey would like to thank the State Party of Vietnam for its thoughtful and long-standing efforts in preparing the nomination. We commend Vietnam for the significant progress made over the years, particularly in response to ICOMOS's technical recommendations. The completion of master plans for all heritage components in 3 participating provinces and the establishment of a coherent management framework, and notably the integration of heritage impact assessment mechanisms into national legislation, represent substantial achievements. We especially congratulate the State Party on this legislative milestone, which reflects a strong commitment to aligning heritage protection with sustainable development. Before concluding, we would like to raise a question for clarification. While we appreciate ICOMOS's role in providing technical guidance, we note that some issues raised in the final evaluation, such as refining the core narrative and serial composition, appear to be matters that should ideally have been addressed during the upstream process initiated in 2015. We would welcome ICOMOS's reflections on this matter. Turkey supports the inscription of this property under criteria 3 and 4, and therefore we are co-authors to the amendment to this draft decision. We believe the nomination reflects a living cultural tradition that continues to inspire spiritual and ethical values in harmony with nature, and we thank the State Party for its deep commitment to its safeguarding. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I give the floor to the esteemed delegate of Zambia, followed by Belgium.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and good morning. The delegation of Zambia wishes to thank India for proposing the draft amendment concerning the Yen Tu complex. We also extend our appreciation to the advisory body, ICOMOS, for their expertise. Having studied carefully the dossier, and discussed directly with the state party, Zambia found that a consensus on the nomination has been reached among the local communities. Notably, they included ethnic minority, monks, and the broader Buddhism communities. Mr. Chair, this property affirms to uphold best practices through government support to local ethnic minorities in the interpretation and presentation of the ethnic Dao people's cultural values. This includes transmission of traditional medical knowledge and sustainable livelihood through continued planting of medical herbs. We also found, as a state party of Zambia, that the inscription of this property would address a set of ICOMOS additional recommendations, that is from point A to L, allowing necessary action and programs promoting the local people's benefit for the heritage. This also speaks to the Article 5 of the World Heritage Convention, which reminds us to give the cultural and natural heritage a function in the lives of the community. In this regard, Mr. Chair, Zambia supports India's proposal to amend the draft decision from referral to inscription for the Yantu complex on the World Heritage List. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you so much. I now give the floor to the esteemed delegate of Belgium. Zambia. Okay, sorry. So, I give the floor to Belgium. Next will be Italy.
Monsieur le Président.
Chair, Belgium congratulates the State Party of Vietnam for this proposed inscription and endorses the constructive approach adopted by the country. We encourage the State Party to pursue implementation of the proposed recommendations, which include major measures to be undertaken, improving security measures for the property and management of tourism as part of the property. Belgium draws attention to a proper balance between preservation of the continued celebration of rituals as expressed under criterion 6 and the management of visitors which may increase in this holy space. Could ICOMOS give its view and give us some assurance as to the preservation of this balance?
To the esteemed delegate of Italy, followed by Jamaica.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Italy thanks India for proposing the draft amendment concerning the nomination of the Yentu Vinyem Konson Kiebak complex on monument and landscape. Having studied carefully the dossier and discussed directly with the State Party, we commend in particular that in addition to the justification of the sites of UVs, the State Party has paid a considerable attention and investment in building capacity for both site managers and local community at the local level. We indeed observe that though the heritage conservation training is not the end goal, the World Heritage inscription can become a learning process and help to place the cultural properties at the better protection framework and receive adequate resources for conservation. We have observed in the past good practices such as the Maison Sanctuary, which has been successfully restored to transform from the ruins at its inscription in 1999 into one of the best conservation practices today. In view of the foregoing, Italy supports the amendment submitted by India to inscribe this property without any delay. On another note, I would like to thank the distinguished delegate of Lebanon for having a little bit anticipated his opinion on our dossier and having wished, like for Vietnam, a positive outcome. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I now give the floor to the esteemed delegate of Jamaica, following by Senegal.
Thank you, Chair. Jamaica thanks the State Party of Vietnam for this submission of the site. This extensive complex of monuments and landscape located in the Yentu mountain range is the birthplace of Tuklam Buddhism founded by Tran kings. The serial property encompasses mountain ranges, springs, hermitages, pagodas, pilgrimage routes, ritual landscape, that embody true Clam Buddhism. We note the acknowledgement of ICOMOS in the evaluation of the potential OUV under criteria 3 and 6 and appreciate the information provided by the state party in relation to concerns raised by ICOMOS and how these have been addressed to include management plans, an adequate boundary for the integration of the heritage impact assessment mechanism in cultural legislation. After carefully vetting the file, having had dialogue with the state party and with the reference targets met, Jamaica agrees with the recommendations made that the property be inscribed on the World Heritage List under criteria 3 and 6. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you so much. I now give the floor to the esteemed delegate of Senegal, followed by Mexico.
Monsieur le Président,
Chair, if I may, on behalf of the delegation of Senegal, I wish to thank India and the co-sponsors of the draft amendment regarding the inscription of the Yentu complex. After close consideration of the evaluation report of ICOMOS, of the report on the nomination and additional information provided by the state party, our delegation feels that the proposed inscription contains all the essential items regarding integrity. We commend the exceptional efforts made by the state party to meet the requests of ICOMOS by limiting the series, bringing it down from 20 to 12 while preserving the key attributes of outstanding universal value. We should also emphasize that according to ICOMOS's evaluation on pages 173 to 175, all the necessary attributes are represented, be they artifacts, landscapes, or intangible aspects, as well as ritual traditions justify inscription. We note the adoption of the new law on cultural heritage that came into force on the 1st of July 2025, illustrating the strong legal commitment of the state party to include the principles of the World Heritage Convention in its national legislation. And finally, we commend the constructive attitude of the state party, which expresses its openness to cooperate further with the World Heritage Centre in order to strengthen the boundaries of the property. Chair, given all this information, the delegation of Senegal fully endorses the amendment proposed by India and the inscription during this session of the Yentu complex of monuments and landscapes on the World Heritage List. Thank you.
I now give the floor to the esteemed delegate of Mexico, followed by Greece.
Merci, Monsieur le Président.
Thank you, Chair. I'll be brief. Vietnam has made very significant efforts to respond to ICOMOS's recommendations on key issues such as the relations with the local community, the management plan, integration of heritage in school curriculum, the management plan for development and the protection of the environment, as well as strengthening the legal system for conservation. We are convinced that the state party will be able to rapidly meet the commitments it has made, and we recommend inscribing the property on the list. And we also endorse the proposed draft amendment.
I now give the floor to the esteemed delegate of Greece, following by St. Vincent and Grenadine, please.
Thank you, Chair. Greece extends its sincere congratulations to the State Party of Vietnam for the comprehensive preparation of his nomination file and to commend the significant efforts undertaken to demonstrate the outstanding universal value of the Yen Du Vien Nham Con Som Kim Pang complex of monuments and landscapes. This property offers an enduring testimony to the spiritual, cultural, and philosophical evolution of Vietnamese Buddhism, particularly through the indigenous Truc Lam Gen tradition. The sacred landscape, Yen Tu, with its system of pagodas, meditation sites, and pilgrimage routes, continues to serve as a vibrant spiritual center, harmoniously integrated into its natural mountainous setting. It reflects centuries of religious devotion and architectural excellence. The integrity and authenticity of the complex are preserved through its continuous religious function, architectural consistency, and the abundance of documentary evidence related to Buddhist teachings, rituals, and historical records. We would also like to note that the attributes of the nominated property are aligned with UNESCO's core values of peace, reconciliation, and intercultural harmony. Having carefully reviewed the nomination file, the detailed recommendations of the advisory body, and the additional information submitted, our delegation is of the view that the Yen Konsom Kimpak complex of monuments and landscapes fully meets the requirements for inscription on the World Heritage List under criteria 3 and 6. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you so much. I give the floor to the esteemed delegate of St. Vincent and Grenadines, followed by Argentina.
Mr. President, this nomination centers on the cultural and spiritual heritage of Truklam Zen Buddhism, which has had a profound influence on Vietnam's culture, governance, and philosophy. The property embodies the values of peace, harmony, and reconciliation. The State Party of Vietnam has acknowledged the assistance of ICOMOS along a journey of 13 years and their continued and sustained engagement and cooperation in achieving the necessary heritage standards. In response to the recommendations of ICOMOS, the State Party has reduced the number of core components from 20 to 12. They have undertaken to strengthen conservation and management frameworks and have given the commitment to enhance visitor management and safety measures. The State Party has also taken the decision to suspend criteria 5. The question is, however, does this omission weaken the holistic portrayal of human-environment interaction that is otherwise well described? The answer offered by the State Party is that the work shall continue towards satisfying criteria 5 in the future. St. Vincent and the Grenadines commends the work done by ICOMOS and the cooperation of the State Party of Vietnam in the exercise, resulting in acceptance and pursuance of the necessary actions as recommended by ICOMOS. St. Vincent and the Grenadines, however, strongly urge the State Party of Vietnam to comply with the provisions outlined in para 4 and 5 of the amendment. On that basis, St. Vincent and the Grenadines accepts the view that inscribing the Yen II complex of monuments and landscapes in Vietnam based on criteria 3 and 6 will strengthen conservation efforts and global recognition of the property, and therefore supports the amendment submitted by India. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I now give the floor to the esteemed delegate of Argentina, followed by Rwanda.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. We thank ICOMOS for its report on this nomination, as well as the State Party for the complementary information provided. After the study of the State report and information, we understand that the history of the Truklam Buddhism is exceptional and has historically contributed to the culture of peace in the region. Vietnam has shown its intention to continue working on the recommendations proposed by ICOMOS in a constructive dialogue. The management plan for the nominated property is in progress of implementation. Moreover, there is a strong governmental commitment of both national and local levels with substantial financial and administrative support. Therefore, we support the amendment presented by India for the description of the site, and we kindly ask the State Party to continue its effort for the conservation of the site. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. I give the floor to the esteemed delegate of Rwanda. Please, you have the floor.
Thank you, Chair, for the floor. The delegation of the Republic of Rwanda expresses its strong support for the amendment submitted by India concerning the inscription of the Yen II complex of monuments and landscapes on the World Heritage List based on criteria 3 and 6. We commend Vietnam for nominating the Yen 2 complex, which holds great spiritual, cultural, and historical significance. This cultural landscape represents the harmony of natural settings, architecture, and belief systems from the Tran dynasty, along with Truklam Buddhism. The amendment acknowledges the complex universal value, showcasing centuries of tradition and religious philosophy through its temples, pagodas, and sacred sites, symbolizing the connection between humanity and nature. Rwanda also commends the state party's commitment to long-standing conservation efforts, including legal protection, community engagement, and careful restoration of many of the property's components. We commend ICOMOS for a thorough analysis of the nomination dossier as well as the recommendations provided to the state party. Despite ICOMOS's concerns, it's clear that the integrity and authenticity of the nominated sites have been preserved and that the nominated components continue to serve as living heritage through vibrant pilgrimage and festivals, many of which are recognized as national intangible cultural heritage. Rwanda supports the view that the comparative analysis should consider not only architectural features but also the intangible spiritual and cultural meanings embedded in the landscape which distinguish Truklam Buddhism from other Buddhist traditions in the region. We believe that the inscription of the N2 complex would enhance the diversity of the World Heritage List, reflecting Southeast Asia's unique historical contributions to spiritual and cultural heritage. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you so much. Dear colleagues, I see that all committee members have spoken in support of the amendment presented by India. But before continuing, I give the floor to ICOMOS for the clarification request by Turkey and Belgium. You have the floor, please.
Je vous remercie, Monsieur le Président.
Thank you, Chair. Regarding the question from the distinguished delegate of Turkey, I point out that ICOMOS ensures the consistency between the advice provided through the upstream reports, through the panel of experts. So this is a mechanism that we have established further to the official adoption by the Committee on Guidelines for Upstream Mechanisms in 2015. So we have established the fact that upstream reports delivered to the state parties go through the panel of experts who evaluate the proposed inscription. So every time a dossier comes back to the panel of experts, it has the upstream report that is validated, and this is how we ensure consistency as part of the upstream processes when we evaluate a proposed inscription. And I will hand over to my colleague regarding, in order to respond to Belgium's question.
Chairperson, concerning tourism, ICOMOS has expressed concern about the potential increase of tourists, also in relation to plans for having new infrastructure that can accommodate the tourists, and that is why ICOMOS has included the recommendation to ensure that all the different activities and prospection of increase of tourists are gathered together into tourist management plan, proper tourist management plan, to ensure that both physical infrastructure and programs for increasing tourism be put together in order to control any potential increase and ensure that the sacred and spiritual value of the place continue to be sustained. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you so much. I now give the floor to esteemed delegate of India, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. In response to the question on tourism, I would like to add, addressing the risk of visitor increase and site carrying capacity, the State Party of Vietnam has set it as a clear priority in their site management plan, with a focus on strengthening the visitor management framework and ensuring that tourism remains sustainable. Vietnam has valuable experience working with the Sustainable Tourism Program of the World Heritage Center to assess capacity carrying for other World Heritage sites, and this cooperation will continue to help build capacity and share the best practices. Further, a successful example is the visitor management plan for the Trang An World Heritage Landscape, where Vietnam has effectively managed a sharp increase in visitors following the inscription. It is important to note that the risk does not stem solely from visitor numbers, which remain relatively modest compared to other global destinations, but from ensuring robust systems are in place to manage tourism activities and regulate visitation to safeguard the site's cultural and environmental integrity. I thank you.
Thank you so much. I see no more questions or comments. I now invite you to adopt the draft decision 47Com 8B.22. But before doing so, I would like to ask the rapporteur if she has received any amendments of the draft decision proposed.
Merci, Monsieur.
Thank you, sir. We have received an amendment to 8B.22 submitted by India and co-authored by Bulgaria, Japan, Kazakhstan, Kenya, Republic of Korea, Senegal, Turkey, Rwanda, and Zambia, and in the room supported by all the states parties.
Paragraph 1.
Para 1 unchanged. Para 2 inscribes the complex of monuments and landscapes Yen Tu Vien Nguyen Con Son Ke Plak, Vietnam, on the World Heritage List on the basis of criteria 3 and 6. This serial property does not include 8 component parts listed in the annex that shall constitute an integral part of this decision. Next paragraph takes note of the following provisional statement of outstanding universal value. The text is only available in English at the moment. Para 4 recommends that the state party take into account the following. Give consideration to the following. A and B are to be deleted. New A, improving the interpretation and presentation of the property in line with the core narrative of the development of the Truklam Buddhism as stipulated in the Statement of Outstanding Universal Value of the property. New B, with the words revised and nominated deleted. New C, completing and implementing on an urgent basis, systematic conservation process, including enhanced restoration techniques, taking into account the need to maintain the authenticity of the building structures, archaeological sites, and other relevant elements. New D. The word preparing has been replaced by consolidating, and then we see a deletion of B and C, then new E, where the word nominated is deleted. Former E is to be deleted. New F, improve the security and safety measures currently in place, especially for the wood blocks. G, improving the indicator monitoring system to ensure reliable and accessible data storage. Former H deleted, new H, with a view to the future increase of the number of visitors, consolidating the different activities and projections into a formal tourism management plan. Former I deleted, former J, new I, further researching traditional knowledges and intangible heritage in order to enhance the understanding of the property. New J, continuing the support to local people, including ethnic minorities, for their better engagement and benefits from heritage protection management. K is deleted, the new K. The word nominated is deleted, the new L, which replaces M, is unchanged. Para 5 requests the state party to submit to the World Heritage Centre by the 1st of December 2026 a report on the implementation of the above-mentioned recommendations for review by the World Heritage Committee at its 49th session. Thank you, sir.
Autant pour moi, l'annexe.
Apologies. Annex. Integral part of decision 47,8b to the property does not include the following component parts: the Ansin Temple, number 2, the Tai Lang Mausoleum, number 3, the Bitong Pagoda, number 5, the Swol Tam Pagoda, number 6, the Kam Tuk Pagoda, number 7, the Ho Tien Pagoda, number 11, the Dong Van Nguyen Stake Yard, number 19, and the Dong Man Ngua Stake Yard, number 20. Apologies to Vietnam for what is possibly not perfect pronunciation of these sites. Thank you.
I give the floor to the esteemed delegate of Qatar, please.
Merci, monsieur.
Thank you, sir. I would simply like to say that we would like to see the name of Qatar added. We have already sent an official mail to this effect to support this amendment. Thank you, sir.
So, I give the floor to the Mexico, please.
Merci, Monsieur le Président.
Thank you, sir. As I've already said, we support the amended document. But I would like to spell one point out. With all respect for the state party, and I understand the state party's decision, but by way of procedure in para 2, we should say inscribes the complex of monuments. But we should also mention the 8 constitutive elements which have been excluded in the annex. Thank you.
I give the floor to Mr. Alendo Somo, please.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairperson. I wanted to provide some clarification or some explanation to facilitate your proceeding for the examination of the draft decision. And following the discussion by the distinguished representative of Mexico, I just want to say that the practice, of course, has always been that the committee in its decision of inscription, when there are serial components, exclude some components apart from the original nominated series. So the practice has been, of course, like explained by the distinguished delegate of Mexico, to name the excluded components part in paragraph 2 of the decision, as this defines the committee, the committee, this is what the committee exactly knows what it is inscribing. Now, I think we also understood the spirit of the presentation of the annex by the distinguished, by India. And of course, although the practice has not been to add an annex, I just want to say that one other practice that you have had in the past, when it comes to decision, not when it comes to decision to inscribe, but not other type of decision. One of the practices in inscribing sites in the past has been a footnote. and we've had it in one of the decisions of the committee in 2015. So I think here the committee has two options. Either it goes along with what is the practice, what has been the practice as explained by Mexico, or the other the type of decision that we have taken in the past regarding an inscription was to put a footnote. So I think I'm giving you this information also so that you can conduct your deliberation of this decision in that sense. But we've never had in an inscription an annex to the decision. So thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Italy? You have the floor, please.
Yes, it was just to add the name of Italy.
To add Italy to another country. Thank you so much. Belgium, you have the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So indeed, Belgium also would like to add its name to the large number of co-sponsors. And with regards to the technical matter of the components that will not be included, we have carefully listened to the director, and we could perfectly live with a footnote instead of an annex if that is a more common practice. We also would like to suggest, perhaps, if this is workable, to include the numbers of the components that are not included without naming them, so that it's absolutely clear, because we do see the importance that we don't have any discussions afterwards of what is inscribed and what isn't. So this is a crucial matter, obviously. But so we could just say the 8 numbers that are not included without their names. If that is feasible, it might be also a suggestion for a compromise. I thank you.
Thank you so much. So, I now invite you to adopt the draft decision 47.8b.22. So, is the committee agree with the para 1? I see no objection. Adopt. So now we see the intervention of Belgium, and I will ask the India who intervention they prefer. India, we have the floor.
You will ask India what, Excellency? Can you please repeat your question?
Thank you so much. Yes, it's India maintained by the proposal of Belgium, or prefer the annex? Please.
I don't think we would have an issue with the Belgium proposal to have a footnote, and as indicated by the director of the World Heritage Center also. So we'll go along with, at times we get very wise advice from Belgium, so I would like to go with their advice on this. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I give the floor to Jamaica, please.
Thank you, Chair. We just want it to be added to the list of countries supporting.
Okay. Thank you. Now I give the floor to the rapporteur to explain the footnote, please.
Merci, Monsieur le Président.
Thank you. A proposal from Belgium would be to have a footnote with only the names of the properties and not the numbers, because the numbers might change. That is the brief proposal.
Saint Vincent and the Grenadines, you have the floor.
St. Vincent and the Grenadines would like to have their name added to the list of support.
Thank you. So the rapporteur is supposed, and if the committee member agree with the rapporteur, it's okay. I see no objection.
Yeah, sorry to take the floor again, but just so we said that we would include the numbers and not the names. I think the opposite is happening on the screen. So I'm not sure. So c'est uniquement les numéros qu'on va garder, pas les noms.
We're going to keep only the numbers and not the names. But I see that that is not what seems to be happening. Thank you.
Mr. Lerundo-Samo, please.
Merci beaucoup, Monsieur le Président.
Thank you, sir.
C'est juste pour expliquer que
I just wanted to explain
c'est important que le comité
that it's important for the committee
les composantes
to know what the components are which have been excluded from the nomination. And this is why the rapporteur suggested that in the footnote we should include the list of names, because this was taking up on India's proposed amendments. So instead of keeping the numbers, what we would have in the footnotes is the names of the excluded components. I hope this is clear now for the distinguished delegate from Belgium. We don't have a very firm opinion. We were suggesting keeping the numbers, but if it has to be the names in the footnote, we are not opposed to that.
Italy, you have the floor, please.
No, just a very recent example, a very recent precedent. Yesterday, we inscribed the nomination of Iran, prehistoric caves and Falakov, with names and numbers of the component excluded, of course.
Thank you so much for this example. So we keep the numbers also. Dear committee members, now we adopt to para 2. If you agree with the para 2, I see no objection. Adopt para 3. If you agree with para 3, I see no objection. Adopt para 4. Okay. India, we have the floor, please.
Excellency, we request you to go slowly on para 4, because there are some words which the state party would not like to have included. But we are not sure where exactly those words are, so we just go slowly para by para. Thank you.
Lebanon, you have the floor.
Merci, Monsieur le Président.
Thank you. Well, since we are going to go para by para, so be it. We had some observations and we will incorporate them on this para by para basis. Thank you.
So we'll go subpara by subpara, yes? Okay. In paragraph 4, subpara A. Any objection? I see none. Subpara B. Any objection? I see none. Subpara C. Any objection? I see none. Subpara D. Any objection? I see none. Subpara E. Any objection? I see none. Subpara F. Any objections? I see none. Subpara G. Any objections? I see none. Subpara H. Any objections? I see none. Subpara I. Any objections? I see none. Lebanon, please, you have the floor.
No, it's the next paragraph, J.
Okay. India, you have the floor.
Thank you, Excellency. Apparently, para J does not reflect the blue form that was submitted. The para J should read as follows. Continuing the support to local people continuing to support the local people for their better engagement and benefits from heritage protection and management, comma. The local people. We do not want to, the state party does not want to segregate the local people into ethnic minorities or non-ethnic minorities. They do not want to divide their people. They want to unite their people. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Lebanon, please.
Thank you, Mr. President. We prefer another formulation. We prefer to have it this way, ensuring adequate consultation and equitable and effective participation of local people in the management of the nominated property. We think it's much clearer than support of local people for better engagement. I mean, let's say things as they are. We want to have consultation and participation of local people in the management of the nominated property. We think it's more appropriate.
Thank you, Lebanon. I give the floor to India, please.
Yeah, we are okay with the wording of Lebanon.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. So,
you can strike out everything above here. Thank you.
no, it's okay. Now we approve the paragraph J. Lebanon, please.
Yes, I'm sorry, President. There is a recommendation that is missing. I don't know why. It was the previous C, finalizing the integration of heritage impact assessment mechanism in the law of cultural heritage. I don't know why this recommendation was removed. We think it's important to keep it.
So it's not reflected at this moment.
Excellency?
India?
India, you have the floor.
Put 4C in the bracket and then move on to the next paras so that we can come back to 4C. Thank you.
So now we move to the separate G. Turkey, you have the floor, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. The heritage impact assessment has already been included into the national law of the state party. This is why it has excluded from the article. The state party has already included heritage impact assessment mechanism into their national law. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Okay. Dear committee members, let's just adopt the paragraph J, and after then we continue it, please. So,
sorry, Mr. President. We would like to know from the center and from the advisory bodies if they received this new law prepared by the state party with the HIA in it.
So, excuse me. Point of order of India, please.
Mr. Chair, you were on paragraph J for its adoption. If there is no objection to paragraph J, you can strike the hammer, and then we can talk about various other questions and answers, whether the sun rises from the east or west. We'll answer everything. But you are on J, so let us know. We adopt it. Please move ahead.
Thank you so much. So, the paragraph J, any objections? Adopt. Thank you so much. So, subpara K. Any objections? No. Adopt. Subpara L. Any objections? Adopt. Subpara M. India, you have the floor.
Excellency, para 4C was adopted before. So once you have already adopted a para, how you can go in the reverse gear, I do not understand. But I do understand the concern regarding the heritage impact assessment. And I would like to first make a statement and request that you give the floor to the state party. The Heritage Impact Assessment, HIA, has been fully integrated into the new law on heritage, cultural heritage, reinforcing Vietnam's commitment to sustainable management and protection of its heritage sites. The country has an established system for managing these sites, with the World Heritage properties receiving the highest level of protection. Vietnam is also actively cooperating with UNESCO and potentially advisory bodies to develop training programs on HIA, ensuring the capacity to assess and mitigate the impacts of large development projects. Additionally, the country is working to create a roster of HIA experts who can provide independent evaluations, ensuring that all projects align with the preservation of cultural heritage. The new law on cultural heritage serves as a crucial legal framework to ensure the effective integration of the heritage impact assessment and the continued safeguarding of Vietnam's heritage. So, Excellency, what is being mentioned in M is already covered. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Zambia, you have the floor, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. It's also been observed that just like Turkey and India has just affirmed, Zambia stands also to actually acknowledge that this heritage impact assessment has already been integrated in the laws. And moreover, Mr. Chair, I think having made some consultation, if this was to be undertaken again, it means redoing more or less like the law, which is a long process and very costly. Thank you.
Thank you so much. India, please, you have the floor.
I'm sorry to take the floor again, Excellency, but I have just been informed that the heritage impact assessment in the law, the integration, took place and it has taken effect on 1st July. So with this information, may I request the learned colleague from Lebanon, after this information, could we delete this para? Thank you.
Thank you so much. I give the floor to Lebanon, please.
Thank you, Mr. President. We have full confidence in the state party. However, I mean, the law should be sent to the center, should be sent to the advisory bodies. It has been approved on the 1st of July. Again, these documents should be reviewed, also read at least by the center, by the advisory bodies, to know what these documents contain. Maybe if you want to not to speak about the law, but at least insist that all projects should be in the area, that all projects in the on the site and the buffer zone should be subject to a heritage impact assessment, or let's say confirm, or something of this sort, until the law is received and by the center and by the advisory bodies.
Thank you so much. India, please.
No, was there thinking aloud, or was this actually a DR inclusion? All this has already been done. What has been asked for is a copy of the document which will be shared with the advisory bodies and the World Heritage Center, which the state party will do. Unfortunately, at present, it is only in Vietnamese. They will translate it into English and they will share it with you. But the law has already taken effect, and the state party is more protective about its own cultural heritage. Vietnam, you know, the state, these sacred heritage sites are very integral to Vietnamese society. So they are more interested than even us in protecting their own sites. And because the law has already been incorporated, a copy will be shared with the World Heritage Center. But to mention all these things, I mean, we need the advice of the director. Do you have to mention that all projects within this is understood that it will be covered? That's why if at all something is not covered, you have the SOC reports. And then you can obviously ask for a new HIA. But the HIA has already been done. Would you want another HIA? So may I request you to give the floor to the Director of World Heritage Center to clarify. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I give the floor to Mr. Alundo Somo to clarify it.
Thank you, Mr. Chairperson, and I thank the distinguished representative of India for his request for clarification. The first thing I want to do is that you had this type of discussion already during the examination of the state of conservation a few days ago. And what you had done in this previous decision is that even though an action or a law has been taken or is effective at national level, you could still submit it for review to the World Heritage Center and the advisory bodies. Reviewing doesn't mean that we oppose the effectiveness of the law, but I think it's to provide the necessary technical review for consideration by the state parties, so you could add for your consideration here, finalizing the integration of a heritage impact assessment mechanism in the law on cultural heritage and for review or submitted to the World Heritage Center for review. Once it's finalized, and then you submit it to the World Heritage Center and the advisory bodies for review. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Director. India, you have the floor, please.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. Mr. Chair, the concerned file that you're suggesting for, if I remember correctly, it was not proposed to review the law by the advisory bodies or by the World Heritage Center. It was to be submitted for information. However, if any impact assessment is to be done, it was to be done in the lines of the operational guidelines, where it suggests that HIA is to be conducted in case there are any major developments or concerns which are there within the buffer of the property. So I think this is what was discussed in one case that you're referring to, if I'm correct. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you so much. India. Yes, India, please.
Thank you again. I want the Director of World Heritage Center to kindly confirm this, whether it was related to the operational guidelines, what my colleague just said. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairperson. I do confirm that at the end, it was related to the operational guidelines. Thank you.
So as of now, we understand, Mr. Chair, that they only need a copy of the law. And that will be translated in English and be given it. Now, do you want to spend the time of everybody based on a law which has already been enacted, a law which has been implemented, but it is existing in the country's own language? They need time to translate it in English and to hand over to the World Heritage Center. So we need some guidance to move ahead on this particular para M, because right now Lebanon has given two versions. One is finalizing, and then it's all projects. So can you just give us a concise wording upon which we can decide? Thank you.
You have Japan.
Thank you so much. Japan, you have the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I listened carefully the very interesting discussion between the distinguished delegates of India and the Director of World Heritage. I think the question is that whether the translation of the law will be shared in due course. And I think that this discussion should be recorded as a record. So I think that we have a full confidence in the delegation of Vietnam will share the translation in due course. And whether the committee should take another decision as an additional recommendation on this matter is quite different. I think so. Japan is inclined to delete this subject. I think it's too intrusive. Thank you very much.
So much. Lebanon, please, you have the floor.
Thank you, Mr. President. Again, we have full confidence in Vietnam. However, the issue is not there. We can here forget about the law, don't speak about the law, but recall what is written in the operation guidelines, that all major projects in the site and in the property and in the buffer zone should be subject to heritage impact assessment as defined in the operation guidelines.
Mr. Rolando Somo, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chairperson. It's just in I think if we understand the distinguished delegate of Lebanon, so if it's a recalling, then maybe because of the wording you could put ensuring that all projects within the property and the buffer zone are subject to heritage impact assessment as defined in the operational guidelines. And then you can approve the para M. Thank you.
Thank you so much. India, please.
I have two suggestions. It should be all relevant projects. So the word relevant should appear before projects. And Mr. Chair, I request you to give, are we permitted to give the floor to the State Party of Vietnam while discussing the amendments? If so, then we can give them. If not, then I will refer to them and then I will come back. So please let me know, are we permitted to give are you permitted to give the floor to the State Party of Vietnam? Because this pertains to something related with the sovereignty of the country, because when it comes to making laws, it's the sovereignty of a country's parliament. So I think they should be given a floor at this point in time to clarify. Thank you.
Thank you. No, unfortunately, I give the floor to the Zambia, please.
Thank you, Chair, for this opportunity again. Chair, it seems this para now which we're trying to adopt in ensuring that all relevant projects within properties, I mean, Chair, this is, I think, a known fact for all states parties because it's there in the operational guidelines. Now, Zambia does not see the need to put that as part of a decision because this is a known fact that all projects, all relevant projects has now been qualified within the property. I mean, they're subject to heritage impact assessment. So why should it be part of a decision? So, Chair, we do not understand this now. And I don't know whether it's it seems to Zambia we are doubting the state parties' ability, even as far as they have come to this point whereby they're able to put such a nomination dossier. We are questioning their ability to manage this property, which I feel, Chair, is it's something that we need to reconsider. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Lebanon, we have the floor.
Thank you, President. I don't want to insist too much, but it is not the first time that in decision taken by this committee, we recall the fact that all major projects in the site and in the buffer zone should be subject to heritage impact assessment. I can cite at least 10 or 11 decisions we have taken here in this committee recalling the idea of the HIA. I mean, this is something that we always do in the SOCs, in the nominations, every time we have these kind of decisions. It is not the first time.
India. Thank you so much. India, have the floor, please.
Mr. Chair, whatever heritage impact assessment, excuse me, just 1 second. Whatever heritage impact assessment is done, it's obviously as per the operational guidelines, just as your denial of giving the floor to the State Party of Vietnam is also subject to the operational guidelines. We are meeting here based on the operational guidelines. We have called such a huge intergovernmental meeting in Paris. We are working on Saturdays and Sundays because these days were also as per the operational guidelines. So do we have to really mention as defined in the operational guidelines? So our suggestion is you delete the words as defined in the operational guidelines because it's part of a decision of the World Heritage Committee. So remove the word as defined and strike it out.
Thank you so much. Lebanon, you have the floor.
No objection.
So, Lebanon, we have no objection to delete.
No objection to delete the word as defined in the
Operational guidelines. Thank you. India, you have the floor.
I think, it's lunchtime. I don't want to hold anyone here on a Saturday, so we will accept this and move to the next para. Thank you.
Thank you. Dear committee member, we agree with the subpara M. I see no objection. So, if you agree to adopt para 4, no objection, adopt para 5. I see no objection. Adopt. Yes. Now, I therefore declare draft decision. Sorry? Zambia. No?
No, it's just that the striking out of the annex was done at late. So when you went there, it appeared. Now it has been striked out. Thank you.
So I therefore declare the draft decision 47.8b.22 adopted as amended. Let me congratulate Vietnam on behalf of the entire committee for the inscription on this property. Vietnam, you have the floor for a brief 2-minute statement. Thank you.
Madam Angelate, Director General of UNESCO, Mr. Chairperson, Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, it is indeed a moment of great pride and happiness, not only for the local communities of Quang Ninh, Hai Phong and Bắc Ninh, but also for all the Vietnamese people. I wish to express our deep appreciation to the dedicated work, technical guidance by ICOMOS, the World Heritage Center, and independent experts throughout this long nomination process. I would also like to sincerely thank all the members of the World Heritage Committee for your valuable support and cooperation in this inscription. With this meaningful inscription, Vietnam is fully committed to conserving this living heritage within our sustainable development framework. We are also committed to upholding the living spirit of Chuklam Buddhism, founded by King Buddha Trần Nhân Tông, our national revered leader. With its values of peace, reconciliation, harmony, and compassion that aligns fully with UNESCO missions, values, and ideals. We see safeguarding heritage not just an endpoint, but the start of a long journey where communities remain central to protection, management, and transmission to future generations. We will spare no effort to ensure this valuable legacy of the humanity continue to inspire not only the people of Vietnam, but also the wider world as a testament to cultural and spiritual resilience. I wish now to pass the floor to Mr. Hoàng Đạo Cương, Vice Minister of Culture, Sport and Tourism, to speak, to be followed by Venerable Thích Thanh Quyết, Abbot of Yên Tử Pagoda. The floor is yours.
Excellency, Mr. Chairman of the section and all delegates, to achieve this success over the past year, the system of relic and intangible cultural heritage here has received special attention through the implementation of the many projects to safeguard the values of the heritage complex, while improving the cultural and spiritual life of the community and local people here. We are also pleased to inform you that to better safeguard the World Heritage Site in Vietnam, on 23rd November 2024, the National Assembly of the Socialist Republic of Vietnam promulgated law on cultural heritage 2024, adding the sustainable development perspectives of the UNESCO, providing regulation of the impact assessment of World Heritage, developing World Heritage Management and Protection Plan, linking the conservation of monuments with the safeguarding of intangible cultural heritage at World Heritage Sites, as well as with the goal of serving local community. We are committed to continue to sustainably protect on outstanding universal value of the complex of monument and landscape of Yên Tử, Vĩnh Nghiêm, Côn Sơn, Kiếp Bạc for present and future generation. Thank you very much.
Thay mặt cộng đồng, người dân và Phật giáo Trúc Lâm Việt Nam, tôi vô cùng xúc động và trân trọng khi Yên Tử, Vĩnh Nghiêm, Côn Sơn, Kiếp Bạc được ghi danh là di sản thế giới. Đây là sự tôn vinh những giá trị hòa giải, hòa hợp, hòa bình mà Phật giáo Trúc Lâm và Phật Hoàng Trần Nhân Tông là người đại diện. Chúc UNESCO tiếp tục cống hiến nhiều hơn nữa cho nhân loại. Xin trân trọng cảm ơn.
On behalf of the local communities at the Trúc Lâm Buddhist community, I'm deeply moved and grateful for the inscription of Yên Tử, Vĩnh Nghiêm, Côn Sơn, Kiếp Bạc complex of monuments and landscapes on the UNESCO World Heritage List. This recognition not only honors our rich spiritual and cultural heritage, but also reaffirms the enduring values of peace, harmony, and human compassion that Trúc Lâm Buddhism and King Buddha Trần Nhân Tông embody, which fully aligns with UNESCO mission. We sincerely hope that UNESCO will continue to uphold and advance its noble mission for the benefit of all humanity. I thank you.
Thank you so much for this 2-minute statement. Dear colleagues, considering the time, I will now adjourn our meeting for lunch and we will resume at 3 p.m. with the examination of the nomination of megaliths of Karnak, France. But I want to give the floor to the Secretariat to make some announcements before the break. Please.
Thank you, Mr. Chairperson.